Workers at state-owned Petrotrin have started to collect their letters of termination. This even as the industrial court is yet to make a ruling on the injunction filed by the Oilfields Workers Trade Union to have the company not send home workers. In a memo to workers dated October 5th, the company told employees it will cease operations effective November 30th, 2018. As a result, they got their 90 days formal notices. So how does the payment work? Well, Rishi Harrynanan explains.
The company is making the termination payment utilizing the formula for calculating severance pay as exists in the Memorandum of Agreement for National Petroleum Staff Association for the period January 2009 to January 14, 2012. According to the termination payment schedule, a worker who has been employed with the company for 5 years will get 1 month's salary for each year. Workers will get 1 1/4 month's salary per year of service for the next 14 years. For those who have worked 20 plus years, they will get 1 1/2 months salary for the rest of their service. If the workers are more than 50 years old and have more than 20 years service, the workers will not be given severance, but instead an early retirement package. Severance will only be utilized for employees working on average less than 20 years. One employee who has been working with the company for just under 6 years will be taking home $161,581.90. The employee provided a breakdown to TTT of how they are being compensated. For the first 5 years, they will get $112,295. For the remainder of the time there, the employee would get $26,904.90. A further $12,382 was paid in lieu of notice. That totals 15 days. Rishi Harrynanan, TTT News.
And that employee who shared the information with us is said to be making more than the average worker at the company. Therefore, this settlement represents more than what the average worker would get. The person is employed at the medical department at Petrotrin. Well, some of the workers aren't happy with what is being given. One man in particular, who has worked with Petrotrin for 17 years, said he got $183,665.13. Over 500 workers have so far collected letters after the company issued an internal release on Friday to staff. The process of handing out letters will continue over the weekend. Representing Oilfields Workers Trade Union is upset at what is taking place. Education Officer Ozzy Warwick says the action taken by the company is a contempt of court. He said while some of these workers may not fall under their bargaining unit, the action is cause for concern.
It shows a grave disrespect for the industrial court, disregard for the rule of law, and disregard for the laws of this country, because you cannot have an instance where you have a matter being deliberated in the courts of this land, and then a company feels that it is above the law of the land, and then proceed to engage in an action which said action is being currently deliberated at the court.
Mr. Warwick said people must be concerned that a state-owned company would be so disrespectful to the court.
Because it means that they are willing to go so far in order to execute whatever they're doing, that they are willing to disregard the rule of law. And that has to be something that we as a country will have to be concerned about. Because it's only a matter of time before they start delivering letters to our bargaining units. And therefore, once that happens, those letters will come in, those workers will come into the union most likely on Monday morning and so on.
Just a reminder that the industrial court is expected to make a ruling on the injunction filed by the Oilfields Workers Trade Union to have Petrotrin stop from sending home workers on Monday at 3 p.m. While the company has proceeded to hand out termination letters to the workers, the union is telling them not to accept it. The opposition leader on Friday said the distribution of letters to the employees is a contemptuous and callous act, as the OWTU had filed for an injunction at the industrial court.
The distribution of these letters will commence this morning, October 5th, 2018. We want to, given the sensitive nature of this exercise, we kindly ask that everyone be at the ballroom point of the staff club at the time specified for them to collect their letters. How contemptuous.
There is a larger concern about the fate of Petrotrin besides the retrenching of over 4,000 employees. Former Prime Minister Basdeo Pandey crystallizes the bigger danger, saying that it lies within the overall political functioning of this land.
What I can say is that what we have to do is to examine why Petrotrin became Petrotrin. That is to say, why did it reach this position? And is that happening in other state enterprises like Wasan, TNTech and so on? I think that is a lesson to be learned from what is happening with Petrotrin. Petrotrin is the result of corruption, waste and mismanagement, political patronage, cronyism. That is the sort of thing. And it's occurring in almost every single state enterprise.
Mr. Pandey says it is the present political system which is to blame for corruption. He says the lack of power which the people have in the political arena entices the institutions and many of those working within them to do wrong.
Under the present political system, the government is both the legislature and the executive. That is totally contrary to democracy. The parliament should be for lawmaking and the executive should be separate from the parliament. Unless we have the courage to amend the constitution, we will continue to be like this. We've been doing it for 50-something years without change.
The former Prime Minister says the level of crime, both white-collar and otherwise, is now the main avenue for the expression of the people's political will, going so far to suggest that TNT is not a true democracy.
You see, they have no voice in the political system. This is how they're expressing their voice. They are speaking because the political system does not give them an opportunity to speak otherwise. Oh, we don't have a democracy. That's nonsense. Democracy is where the people is in control of the government. Right now, the government is in control of the people because the government controls the parliament. That is the biggest mistake of the Constitution. Unless we separate them, this kind of nonsense will continue until we degenerate into anarchy.